Hello guys, welcome to today's video on IIM Kozhikode series. So in the previous video, we have started grammar topics. We have seen articles and parts of speech. So let's start with tenses today. I think all of you must have had some knowledge about tense right from your high school, right? Tense is nothing but the time of action expressed by the verb. Right, so the three main tenses which you know are present, past and future, and of course again they are divided into four forms: simple, continuous, perfect and perfect continuous. Let's not dwell in the structure of these tenses and all, but let's focus on the competitive exam perspective here. Okay, yeah, so generally on what in which areas you might be tested is verb tense consistency, tense usage in error spotting, correct verb in the fill in the blanks, and tense shift in para completion questions, and also sometimes subject verb agreements can also be tested in your error spotting. Okay, so let's look at some common tense errors. Okay, he is work hard, that doesn't happen. It's either he is working hard, or in a simple present tense you can say he works hard. That means he works hard in general. This is something which is habitual, which is regular. That is why it is in simple present. Okay, or something that's happening at the moment, it becomes your continuous tense, right? I am knowing the answer, I know the answer. See, stative verbs, they are not used in continuous tense. So what are the stative verbs? They are nothing but they talk about the state of being. Okay, state of being. State of being means, for example, I know, I believe, or I think, or I love, I hate, okay, or anything, anything that expresses your state of being, that is your stative verb. That is why you don't say, I am hating this person, I am believing this religion. You don't say that. I believe in this religion, I hate this person, I know the answer. Okay, whenever stative verbs are present, you will always go for simple V1, not ing forms. Okay, now she has went to the market. No, whenever you come across has or had, it will always be, the verb will always be in V3 form, which is nothing but the past participle form. Okay, these are just some common errors. Let's start with questions. Okay, by the time we reach, he dash already dash. Okay, so first of all, the thing which you have to identify here is there are two actions. Okay, one is he reached and the other is leaving. By the verb given here, leaving is the other action. So remember, whenever you have two actions, obviously one must have taken place before the other, or both of them must be happening parallelly, right? By the sentence given here, we can understand that one is already completed and the other happened after that. For example, if this is the timeline, let us say this is future, this is past, and this is present. Okay, so two actions happened in the past, so one must have happened before the other. So for this particular action, we will have had plus V3, okay, which is nothing but your past perfect. Okay, and the action that has taken place after this, which is this action, that would be expressed in simple past. Okay, so whenever there are two actions taking place in the past, the action which has happened first will be expressed in past perfect. The action that has taken place after this would be expressed in simple past. Now look at this sentence. By the time we reached. So this suggests that this is in simple past. So this is the action which happened after the one. Right. So the earlier action, it must be expressed in past perfect. That means it should be he had already left. Right. Had plus V3. So where is had plus left? It is in option B. Okay. Remember this, whenever two actions come into the picture, one must have happened before the other. The earlier action would have the past perfect form, and the action that has taken place after that would have simple past form. Okay? Yeah. Let's look at one more. She dash in this company for many years now. Okay, see, whenever you have these clue words like now or yet or just, you should remember that they are the clue words for present perfect tense. Okay, and what does present perfect tense contain? It contains have or has. Okay, had wouldn't come here. Had would come in your past perfect. Have or has depending on whether it's a singular or plural. If it's singular, you go with has. If it's plural, you go with have. So she is singular here. That is why it would be she has worked in this company for 5 years now. Okay. Look at the clue words when you're filling the tense, fill in the blanks. Yeah. So let's discuss about conditional clauses. So what happens is many times you try to focus on tenses, and I have seen in competitive exams on conditional clauses you are being tested in the area of tenses. So let's discuss them in detail. Yeah. A conditional clause is nothing but something that expresses a condition. They usually start with if, unless, provided that, etc. Okay. Each condition has two parts. One is the condition and second one is the main clause, the result. Okay, the if clause and the result. Let's see in detail now. See, we have 4 types of conditional clauses. Okay, 0, first, second, third. 4 types of conditional clauses. So the 0 says that something 0 conditional clause is nothing but a general truth or a habitual action that always results in a specific outcome. Okay, something that is there, that cannot be changed. If you heat ice, it melts. If you heat ice, it melts. It's like a universal fact. It is the general truth. Let's look at first conditional clause. It expresses a likely future outcome based on a possible condition in the future. Okay, a likely condition based on a likely future based on a possible condition in the future. Let's see, a likely future outcome, guys. A likely future outcome. So if it rains, a likely future outcome. Okay. If it rains, we will stay indoors. That is a possible condition in the future. So this is the condition that we are talking about. This is the likely outcome in the future. We don't know for sure. We don't know for sure if it will rain or not. So if it rains, we have a condition. That is, we are going to stay indoors. Look at the second condition. Expresses a hypothetical or unlikely situation in the present or future and its likely result. Okay, a hypothetical condition, something that's unlikely. If I had money, it's a hypothetical. I don't have money, but if I had money, I would travel the world. If I had money, I would travel the world, and its likely result. See, remember, this likely is very important because it's likely, we are saying would. It's not will. Okay, it's not certain here. So if I had money, it's a hypothetical condition, I don't have money, I would travel the world. Okay, that's your likely result for that. And now look at the third condition here. It expresses a hypothetical past situation. So this is something which talks about the present or future hypothetical condition. Okay, right now, if I had money, in future, I would travel the world. But this last condition talks about something that has happened in the past, not even about future, present or future, something that has already happened in the past. Like if she had studied a week before this one, she had exams. So the week before that, if she had studied, she would have passed. She would have passed. Okay, and its hypothetical result in the past. Both of them happened in the past. Okay, last week her results came, and before that she must have been in preparation, right? So both of them, they happened in the past, so it's completely hypothetical. If she had studied, she would have passed, right? It's more often used as a regret. Okay, it's more often used as a regret. Now let's see some exercises. Okay, so how can you crack these conditional clauses? Always identify the time reference, okay, and then watch for the modal verbs, and then be careful with whether it's an unreal or hypothetical case. Okay, generally that occurs in your second or third case, right? So if he dash harder, he would pass. So what would be the answer here? If he studied harder, because there's a second conditional verb. It's an unreal present condition given. Okay, it's unreal present condition. So if he studied harder, he would pass the result in the future. Right? If we had taken a taxi, we would have been on time. Right? If we had taken, see, both of them again, they are in the past. They did not take the taxi and they were not on time. So that is why what is she or he implying here? That if they had taken a taxi, they would have been on time. Okay, you have to understand that this is a regret that is being expressed here. Okay, by the sentence you have to understand that, and accordingly you have to assume the condition and go for the conditional clause. Okay, it's a regret. Next, some common errors is, if I will see him, I will tell him no. If I see him, I will tell him. This is the structure. Okay, this is the structure and it has to be followed in this way. If I had known, I will have helped. I would have helped, because there is no certainty in conditional clauses. You have to remember that. And will expresses certainty. So there should not be any certainty as per the structure. So we will go with I would have helped you. Let's do some questions here. If I dash early, I would have caught the bus. If I have arrived, actually here you should get the verb in the brackets. Generally you do get the verb in the brackets, so don't worry. If I had arrived early, I would have caught the bus. Because why am I saying had arrived? Because, okay, let me get all the questions first. Okay, yeah. So why am I saying had arrived? If I had arrived, because this is in the form of regret, right? I would have caught the bus means she missed the bus. That is known. It's the form of regret. So I'm saying if I had arrived early, I would have caught the bus. She will fail if she doesn't study hard. Okay, if she doesn't study hard. I'm again telling you these verbs, they'll be given in brackets, don't worry. Okay, she will fail if she doesn't study hard, because that's the first condition. It's a given. There is a condition in the future that is being expressed, and the result is also expressed in the simple present. Okay, if he had been careful, he would not have broken the glass. I think this is pretty clear. Again, this third case is coming into the picture. It's like a regret that is being expressed. I dash to the party if I am invited. So this is something certain, right? You can see that if I am invited. So it's like I will go to the party if I am invited. Just first condition. Okay, first condition. Yeah. So what can you do is, when it comes to your final exam, you have to look at the tense consistency, memorize the structures of these conditional clauses, and learn what are these stative verbs. Okay, and you can solve. I think you have already you got an idea about stative verbs, right? Okay, now let's see voice in grammar, right? So what is voice? Voice is nothing but the form of verb that is shown in the sentence. Whether if the subject does the action, that becomes your active voice, and if the subject receives the action, then it becomes your passive voice. For example, look at the sentence, the chef cooked the meal. So who is the one who is doing here? The subject is doing the action, so that is why it is known to be in the active form. For example, the meal was cooked by the chef. Here the action is, subject receives the action, that is why it is known to be in the passive form. Okay, So generally, why do we have passive form? Many students ask, ma'am, why two voices? We can only have one. But there are some reasons for this passive voice. Okay, when the doer is unknown or important, for example, he got admitted in the hospital. We don't know who admitted him. Okay, someone admitted him in the hospital. Don't know who admitted him, so you can just say he got admitted in the hospital. Or I can go with a sentence like, people speak English all over the world. Right. So generally speaking is something which is done only by people, humans, right? So user is widely known. You can just say, sorry, doer is widely known. So you can just say English is spoken all over the world. No need to add people. Okay. So when they are widely known or when they are unknown, you can just go with the usage of passive voice. And sometimes also to emphasize the object or the result, okay, we use passive voice. And passive voice is generally used in news reports, scientific writings, and instructions or notices. This is just for general knowledge, okay? Yeah. So let's just have a quick revision on active, passive, and their conversions, okay? So the structure is subject, object, subject plus verb plus object becomes your active voice. Object plus be plus past participle plus by and subject becomes your active voice. Sorry, passive voice. Okay. So generally here are the steps. You will just, for example, let's take the sentence here. He wrote a letter. Simple. Let's just take a simple sentence here. First you have to identify the object. What is the object here? Something that receives. Who is the receiver of the action? Letter is receiving the action of writing, right? So this is the object we have. Step 2 would be use the correct be form according to the tense. So what is the tense here? It is V2 because wrote is in simple past. Then you can use past participle and add by plus subject. Okay. So here we have he as the subject. So what you're going to do, you're going to interchange them. A letter, because this is in V2, you're going to write was written. A letter was written by him. Your he becomes him. So was because the tense is in V2 and written because it should always be accompanied, the be form should always be accompanied by a participle verb. Okay, so the V3 of write would be written. So a letter was written by him. This is how you do it. You just interchange subject and object. You identify the tense and you put the be form accordingly. And after the be form, you convert the given verb into V3 and then you write by plus subject. Okay. Let's see some more. You will understand. Yeah. She reads a book. Okay. So who is the doer of the action? She. Right. What is the tense? V1. What is the object? Book. Right. So what happens here? A book. The subject is V1. So that is why is read V3 by her. Okay. Subject object interchange according to the tense we have seen the be form. Right. Let's look at the be form for other tenses as well. Simple past. He ate an apple. It is ate is in V2, right? So that becomes an apple was eaten by him. So eaten, this becomes your V3. V2 is your be form here was. Future simple. They will build a house. Right? A house will be. The be form of will be built by them. Again, built here is your V3 form. Remember, in all the sentences, the verb would be in V3 form. And we are just, the important point to note here is how we are going to change the be form. We have completed the task. The task has been completed. Okay. She was watching the TV. The TV was being watched by her. Whenever you have ing, being comes into the picture. Because this is past continuous, you are also having past continuous. Past was and being is being replaced for the ing. You must follow the rules. The rules must be followed. Okay. Yeah. Let's see some common errors. Generally, you can see mixing tenses. The project is completed yesterday. No, the project was completed because yesterday's definitely indicates simple past. So we'll just say the project was completed. Next, incorrect past participle. The song was sing by her. No, the song was sung. B3, concentrate on that. Next, passive of intransitive verb. What is this intransitive verb? There are two types of verbs generally, intransitive and transitive verbs. Intransitive verb is nothing but when there is no object. Okay, when there is no object, that is known as your intransitive verb. For example, he goes to school. We have doer of the action, we have the action, but who is the receiver of the action? School is not the receiver of the action. It is the place, okay, where this boy goes. It is not the receiver of the action. There is no object in this sentence. For example, you can say birds fly in the sky. Birds fly in the sky. Okay. Or I slept. I slept. So in this you can see doer of the action. I is the doer of the action, birds are the doer of the action, we have action, flying is an action, sleeping is an action, but there is no receiver for this particular action. So such kind of verbs, they are known as intransitive verbs. And when there is no object, how can you convert that? Because the first rule is subject-object interchange. That can't happen. So in such sentences, there would be no conversion possible. Okay? Identify whether the verb is transitive or not first, and only if you find an object, then go for then try to guess which option would be more appropriate. Otherwise, none of the above would be your answer when it comes to conversion questions. Anyway, choose the correct passive voice. She writes a letter every day. Okay. Okay, so first of all, we are going to identify the tense. What is the tense here? V1. So what should be? Is should be in the picture, right? Yeah, is. Okay. A letter is written by her every day. A letter is being written by her every day. When would being come into the picture? If I say she is writing a letter every day, then option D would be the answer. A letter is being written by her. But it's just writes. So it should be a letter is written by her every day. Simple. Identify the tense. Then think about the B form. Eliminate the options. Right? They completed the assignment. Okay, we have a bunch of sentences here. Okay, let's look at the bunch of sentences first. Yeah, they completed the assignment. What should be the translation into passive voice? The assignment. So completed is in V2, right? So the assignment was completed by them. Here completed, it's V3. Okay, the assignment was completed by them. Next, she is cleaning the room. This is present continuous. So it should be the room is being cleaned by her. Okay, just identify the B form. Is being cleaned. Okay, here cleaned is your V3. Next, the teacher will give homework. The homework will be given by the teacher. The homework will be given by the teacher, because here will is simple future. For that, B form would be will be, and given is your V3 form. Next, someone stole my bag. My bag was, stole is your V2, right? So was stolen. That's it. Because we don't know who that person is, you need not end it with by someone, because it's unknown. Anyway, it's unknown. My bag was stolen is pretty enough. Okay. We have watched the movie, right? Again, have watched is your present perfect. The movie has been watched by us. Okay. Let's look at the answers now. Okay, because this is in present perfect. Okay. Let's look at the answers. Okay, so here you can see that the assignment was completed by them. It's optional. The room is being cleaned. I would suggest go by her because you don't know who is cleaning that. So yeah, homework will be given. Generally, homework is given by the teacher, right? And she is known, so you can eliminate that. By Mac was stolen. The movie has been watched. Bias is given. Okay, yeah. So that's it for today's video. Let's meet you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.